हैंग हो गया। चलो, look at this one. Okay, this is a question. Explain how the investment in Ginny should be accounted for in the consolidated statement of profit and loss and OCI of Zippy Group for the year ended 30th June 2006. Calculations are not required. Briefly explain with suitable calculations how the office block should be accounted for in the consolidated financial statements of Zippy for the year ended 30th June 2006. Explain why the accounting treatment of 10-floor office block in Zippy's individual financial statements will differ from the treatment in consolidated statements of Zippy Group. Calculations are not required. ठीक है. एंड देन प्री पॉपुलेटेड स्प्रेडशीट का अलग है, वो अलग से देखते हैं. ठीक है. नाउ Zippy is a manufacturing company with a reporting date of 30th June. It has a wide portfolio of investment properties as well as investments in many other entities. The financial accountant has produced a draft consolidated statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income for the year, but there are a number of issues that have not yet been dealt with. The following exhibits available below provide information relevant for parts A and B. Ginny provides information on the acquisition of shares in Ginny Company on 1st of July 2004 and the subsequent disposal of some of the shares in Ginny on 31st of March 2006. Office blocks provides information on an office block partially used by Ginny and partially used for investment purposes. Draft statements provide the draft consolidated statement of P&L and OCI for Zippy Group and the individual statement of P&L and other comprehensive income for Ginny. ठीक है, अब ये देखो मानव, ये पढ़ तो एग्जिबिट वन.
On 1st July 2024, Zippy acquired 60% of the equity interest of Ginny, a public limited company. The purchase consideration comprised cash of $90 million, and the fair value of the identifiable net assets acquired was $114 million at that date. Zippy uses full goodwill method for all acquisition, and the fair value of the non-controlling interest in Ginny was $50 million on 1st July 2024. Goodwill had been reviewed annually for impairment, and no impairment was deemed necessary. Zippy disposed of a 20% equity interest in Ginny on 31st March 2006 was cash consideration of $44 million. On a disposal date, the remaining 40% holding had a fair value of $62 million. Zippy was left with significant influence over Ginny. Zippy accounts for investments in subsidiaries at a cost and has correctly included a gain in investment income of $14 million within its individual financial statements to reflect the disposal. The net assets of Ginny were carried at $118 million at 1st July 2005 in consolidated financial statements. The income expenses of Ginny have accrued evenly throughout the year. The disposal is not classified as a separate major line of business or geographical operation. The draft consolidated statement of P&L and other comprehensive income does not currently include any income or expense in relation to Ginny except for the 14 million investment income noted above.
Okay. On 1st of July, Zippy had acquired 60% interest in Ginny, a public limited company. Purchase consideration comprised of $90 million and fair value of identifiable net assets was $114 million. At that date, Zippy used the full goodwill method for all acquisitions and fair value of NCI was in Ginny was 50 million. Goodwill had been reviewed annually for impairment and no impairment was deemed necessary. From the first paragraph, can you calculate the goodwill on acquisition?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
'Tell me.
16.
Says 26.
26.
90 plus 50, 140, 140 minus 114. What? So 26 million is the goodwill. ठीक है. Zippy disposed of a 20% equity interest in Ginny on 31st of March 2006 for cash consideration of 44 million. On the disposal date, the remaining 40% holding had a fair value of 62 million and Zippy was left with significant influence. Zippy accounts for investment in subsidiaries at cost and has correctly included a gain in investment income of 14 million within the individual financial statements to reflect the disposal. The net assets of Gini were 118 million at 1st of July 2005 in the consolidated financial statements. The income and expenses of Gini have accrued evenly throughout the year. The disposal is not classified as a separate major line of business or geographical operation. Now, draft consolidated statement of P&L does not currently include income or expense in relation to Gini except for the 14 million investment income noted above. Now tell me, when this is a situation of part disposal, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is the fair value of net assets on 1st of July 2004? 114 million. Net assets of Gini were 118 million at 1st of July 2005. Uh, Zippy disposed a 20% equity interest on 31st of March 2006 for 44 million. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे what all do we need? See, the calculation that they have given you is for what? That is for basically gain or loss in the standalone financial statements. चेक करो, डू वी नीड टू कैलकुलेट गेन और लॉस इन द कंसोलिडेटेड फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट? रिक्वायरमेंट में पूछा है. They have asked to explain how the investment in Gini should be accounted for in consolidated financial statements, consolidated P&L for the year ended 30th June 2006, and calculations are not required. You just have to explain. So if you calculate, then you are wasting time because they have not asked you. तो कैसे करेंगे इसको बताइए? See, you had, what is your year end? Year end is 30th of June 2006. And when was the 20% equity interest sold? The 20%
The
equity interest was sold on 31st
31st
of
March.
March. So for how long was Ginny Company your subsidiary?
9 months.
31st
9 months.
9 months.
Okay. So in consolidated P&L, how will this part be shown? If it was your subsidiary for 9 months, then do you agree that all revenue, expense, income of subsidiary company will be proportionately consolidated for 9 months?
Yes, sir.
करेक्ट.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
दैट इज द फर्स्ट थिंग यू विल डू. उसके बाद ये जो 14 मिलियन का गेन ऑन डिस्पोजल या जो भी डाला है, दैट इज फॉर स्टैंड अलोन फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स आफ्टर द एंटिटी हैज बीन डिस्पोज्ड ऑफ, एज इन यू हैव नॉट डिस्पोज्ड ऑफ द होल एंटिटी बट you have lost control over the subsidiary. So what you will have to do is you will have to calculate the gain or loss to be shown in consolidated P&L. How is that calculated? Fair value of interest retained, add proceeds of disposal, then you
Then we have
subtract
to
a number.
subtract the whole net
Subtract all
assets,
the
add
Subtract,
columns.
sir.
goodwill, and that less NCI of the subsidiary.
So net assets plus goodwill minus NCI, right?
Yes,
वो
sir.
जो नेट नंबर आएगा वो आप सब्ट्रैक्ट
वो
करेंगे.
subtract करेंगे.
अमाउंट विल बी शोन एज gain or loss on disposal in the consolidated financial statements. ठीक है. Have they asked you the calculation? No.
No, sir.
But you will have to specifically say कि that 14 million which has been included in the consolidated financial statements has to be removed because that is standalone का figure. You have to include the consolidated का figure. ठीक है. You have to just describe the accounting treatment, nothing else. Then briefly explain with suitable calculations how the office block should be accounted for in the consolidated financial statements. ये देखो तो. Yes, Roshan.
I have a small confusion here, whether they are asking for how the disposal of this investment treatment or just overall P&L treatment. I'm confused about that.
They have asked you how should investment in Gini be shown. So all
Okay.
outcomes of whatever that investment leads to, consolidation for 9 months and gain or loss on disposal, everything has to be discussed.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
ठीक है? Okay. Now, briefly explain with suitable calculations how the office block should be shown in consolidated financial statements of Zippy. At 1st of July 2005, Zippy held a 10-floor office block at a fair value of 90 million with a remaining useful life of 15 years. The first floor was occupied by Zippy's staff and second floor was let to Boo, a subsidiary of Zippy, free of charge. The other 8 floors were all let to unconnected third parties at a normal commercial rent. When Boo vacates the property next year, it will be let out to third parties. It was estimated that the fair value of office block was 96 million on 30th June 2006. Zippy has a policy of restating all land and building to fair value at each reporting date. The only accounting entries for the year ended 30th June 2006 in relation to the office block have been to correctly include the rental income in P&L. It can be assumed that each floor is of equal size, depreciation is charged to administrative cost. How should the office block be shown in consolidated financial statements? Oh, one more point. One more point before we do this question. They have asked you how should the investment be shown in consolidated P&L. You described 9 months consolidation, gain or loss on disposal. You should also describe 3 months के लिए it is an associate, right? तो treatment of associate also has to be described. Just describe the equity method. ठीक है. Now come to part A2. बताइए where will it go और क्या होना चाहिए?
दो फ्लोर जो होंगे वो पीपी बन जाएंगे, 8 फ्लोर इन्वेस्टिंग एक्टिविटी बन जाएंगे, क्योंकि जो मैंने सेकंड फ्लोर लेट आउट किया है वो सब्सिडरी को करा है, और कंसोलिडेटेड स्टेटमेंट में तो वो एक इकोनॉमिक यूनिट बन जाएगी।
Okay. So, subsidiary, if you observe, first floor is occupied by Zippy staff. So, that cannot be considered as investment property, right? Because that is property, plant and equipment used for own business. Second floor का क्या करेंगे?
Let out the subsidiary.
Let out.
Let out to,
But
is it a subsidiary?
yes,
To boo
yes,
a
sir.
Yes, sir.
subsidiary of Zippy. ठीक है. Now, I am holding company, Roshan is subsidiary company. ठीक है. I gave out a property on rent to Roshan. So, for me, in my standalone financial statements, it is investment property. Do you agree? Now, Satyamid Limited and Roshan Limited are getting combined because not combined that way, as in I'm not, it's not a merger in that sense, please understand. But when I'm presenting consolidated financial statements, I treat the two entities as one. Okay. Now I'm treating Satyamed Limited and Roshan Limited as one entity. That property in the standalone financial statements is investment property. But when I'm combining the two entities and treating it as one, don't you think it is property occupied for own business use?
Yes, sir.
Because now Roshan
Yes,
is
sir.
not separate, Roshan is me. He's a part of me, right? So even though the second floor was given to Boo, which was a subsidiary of Zippy, free of charge, still uh, after at the time of consolidation, it should be treated as property, plant and equipment and not investment property by uh, Zippy company. ठीक है. And then Zippy should keep that fact in mind, and two floors though have become property, plant and equipment, correct? The remaining part
That is investment property. It is let out
Yes,
to
sir.
third parties.
Unconnected to third party.
is let out to outsiders. Okay. Now what model does the company follow?
Fair value.
Fair
Yes.
value. Okay. Now इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी के लिए भी फेयर वैल्यू मॉडल एंड पीपीई के लिए भी फेयर वैल्यू मॉडल करेक्ट ओके नाउ in this case what you are doing is you have what was the estimated fair value of office block 96 million ठीक है and it held an office block with a fair value of 90 million with a remaining useful life of 15 years. First two floors you are in the consolidated P&L. First two floors you are treating them as PPE. Remaining 8 floors you are treating them as what?
Investment
Investment
property.
property.
Investment
Investment.
property.
Now it has a useful life of 15 years. ठीक है. Now tell me how much should be the depreciation?
6.
Yes, sir. It's six
And how
million.
did you arrive at that?
6 will be for the entire building, but we have to calculate only for 2 floors. So
Six is for the
6
entire
into 2
building.
by 10.
Exactly what I was looking for.
1.28.
Investment property, when you use the fair value model for measurement of investment property, it is there is no depreciation, correct? Depreciation is PPE के केस में even when fair value model is used, you have to calculate and apply the depreciation का concept. In case of investment property, apply depreciation का concept only when you have the cost model. If you are
Correct.
using the fair value model, you are not supposed to apply that. Make sense? So depreciation will be 90 million upon 15 into 2 by 10. Correct? So how much will that be? 1.2 million. है ना?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, how should the revaluation work? Tell me, 96 million is the fair value, correct? Earlier it was 90 million. Okay. Now, let's divide it into PPE and investment property. 96 million is for 10 floors. So 2 floors का कितना होगा? 96 into 2 by 10. How much is that?
19.2.
19.2.
19.
19.2.
Okay. And what is the carrying amount after this depreciation entry बताओ तो? 90 into 2 by 10 minus
13.8.
13.8.
कितना 0.8?
13. 13.8.
13.8.
No, sir. 18, 18, sir. 18
My
something.
16.8
goodness.
होगा.
So 6 into 2.
हाँ
6
सर
into 2 by 10 is
16.8 होगा.
My goodness. इतना सा कैलकुलेशन everyone has a different answer. मैं भाग जाता हूँ अभी यहाँ से.
कंफ्यूज कर दिया
19
सर.
क्या करते हो यार? 90 into 2 by 10 is 18 ना? 18
हाँ
minus 1.2. हर possible value you have answered apart from the right answer. 18 minus 1.2 is 16.8. 19.2 minus 16.8 कितना होगा? सब्ट्रैक्शन आता है?
2.4.
तो पक्का? हाँ. So where will
Yes,
that
sir.
2.4 go?
Revaluation surplus.
Very good.
OCI.
वेरी गुड. ये
okay.
सबसे छोटा बच्चा है क्लास में, ये आंसर कर रहा है. बाकी के लोग पता नहीं क्या कर रहे हैं. व्हाट विल द रिमेनिंग 8 फ्लोर्स क्वालिफाई एज?
investment property
Investment
and
property.
investment
Investment
property.
property.
अब इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी यू आर यूजिंग द फेयर वैल्यू मॉडल, सो देयर इज नो डेप्रिसिएशन.
Yes, sir.
ओरिजिनल वैल्यू इज 90 मिलियन इंटू 8 बाई 10, 72. करेक्ट. देन 96 इंटू 8 बाई 10 कितना होगा?
76.8.
76.8.
6.8.
6.8. So the difference between the two, 4.8 million, where will this go?
PNL.
PNL.
P&L.
Fair
Investing
value
activity
through P&L.
profit.
P and L. Very good. So, while
So
this appears like a question on consolidation, at its heart, what is it? If you really think about it, this is a question on PPE and investment property. पूछ लिया consolidation में. So, of course, we started off with consolidation, no doubt about it. But later on, we shifted our focus to how is accounting for PPE and investment property done. ठीक है? So, that is basically it gives you an idea of कि यार आपको पेपर में पूछने के लिए तो दुनिया भर का कुछ भी पूछा जा सकता है. ठीक है. यू जस्ट हैव टू कीप एन ओपन माइंड. एंड इफ यू मेक कैलकुलेशन मिस्टेक, सी नाउ दिस वाज not a difficult part of the question. हाँ, one part was difficult, where you had to think about कि in the consolidated financial statement, second floor will also go into PPE and not investment property. Is that reason clear to everyone? Why do we classify it as PPE? Because in the combined entity, now Zippy company and Boo company, Boo and Zippy are one. So if Boo is using that particular premises, then it's for the purpose of consolidated financial statements, it is owner occupied property, right? चलो एक बार देखो इसको.
doubt, I'm not sure whether I'm overcomplicating it or not. Like in the individual financial statements, it would be treated as an what do you call PPE only, right? So investment property
Individual
only.
financial statements, investment property.
Investment properties for that there won't be a depreciation charge. Should we have to calculate depreciation?
No. Why would you want to, calculate that?
Because my profit and consolidated statements would be understated by the depreciation for one floor, right?
It could be, but we don't have enough information to calculate that, na?
Yeah,
So don't
I'm
go
not
down that.
sure. I'm overcomplicating for me.
CA final. You're trying to do that here. This is not CA final, don't worry.
I'm not. I don't want it. Okay.
Keep it simple. वहां पे तो they are so shameless. They will not even give half the information in the question and somehow expect कि तुमको सपना आएगा and you will solve it. ठीक है, चलो अब थर्ड रिक्वायरमेंट, लेट अस सी व्हाट दे आर ट्राइंग टू आस्क अस देयर। क्या है? Explain why the accounting treatment of 10-floor office building in Zippy's individual financial statements will differ from the treatment in the consolidated financial statements. Why will it differ? For individual financial statements, of course, it is property given to someone else on rental. But when we are talking about consolidated financial statements, the property is being used by another constituent member in the group. Somebody from the group is using that particular, and all the entities in the group are treated as one. Therefore, owner occupied property is treated as, in the standalone financial statements, it is investment property, but in the consolidated financial statements, it is property, plant, and equipment. ठीक है, अब using the pre-populated spreadsheet response option and your answer to A1 and A2, adjust the spreadsheet prepared by the financial accountant of Zippy in order to prepare a completed consolidated financial statement of P&L and OCI for year ended 30th June. The spreadsheet should take into account the following: the sale of shares in Ginny and the retained investment, the office block. You are not required to show the profit, and the spreadsheet should take into account sale of shares in Ginny and retained investment. The office block, you are not required to show the profit and total comprehensive income attributable to the owners of Zippy and NCI. The requirement above reflects the format of the real exam, but no spreadsheet. Okay, fine. We don't want also. तो करना क्या है? Draft consolidated statement of P&L for year is given to you. Group statement of P&L and other comprehensive income for Ginny for year ended 30th June 2006 is given to you. ठीक है, अब क्या करना है आपको?
So 9 months we have to calculate for as consolidated. In
करेक्ट,
consolidated, 3 months के लिए we have to show it as share of profit from associate.
वेरी
डिस्पोजल तक वही कैलकुलेट करना है सर।
प्लस लॉस ऑन
Then we have to
डिस्पोजल, मतलब प्लस नहीं, मतलब लॉस ऑन
gain.
डिस्पोजल, लॉस गेन जो भी होगा.
यस
हाँ
सर।
सर.
ओके, वेरी गुड,
Invest.
कर सकते हैं. लेट्स स्टार्ट.
यस
ये जिनी का है एंड दिस इज ग्रुप का. ठीक है, सो adjustment 1, adding 9 months results for Ginny. ठीक है, 132 into 9/12. Right. Then आगे what do you have? 76, 57, 42. ठीक है, मतलब
Finish taking. Well,
then 60, ये
well,
पे क्या है? 12 and 18. 13.5. ठीक है, then operating profit. ओके, नाउ और देखो क्या क्या है. प्रॉफिट,
investment income line.
इन्वेस्टमेंट इनकम इज नॉट, इट्स देयर. 19 का
There we
इन्वेस्टमेंट,
have to adjust for that wrong calculation of 14.
राइट. सो इसको बाजू में रखो. लुक एट इंटरेस्ट एक्सपेंस ऑफ 6. शुड वी एडजस्ट दैट?
Yes, sir.
Yes sir.
Of course we should. So 6 into 9/12.
9/12.
Then एक्चुअली ना ये जो बीच के फिगर्स है, डोंट कैलकुलेट दीज, डोंट कैलकुलेट जीपी, डोंट कैलकुलेट ऑपरेटिंग प्रॉफिट, ये रहने दो, बिकॉज लेट इट रिफ्लेक्ट इन द फाइनल कॉलम। ठीक है। नाउ 9 हो गया, ये हो गया। चलो,
Income tax.
इनकम
इनकम
टैक्स।
टैक्सेस किधर है? इनकम टैक्सेस 7 है ना?
7 and 2.
ओके, 5.25। Now, these are the straightforward adjustments in the question. Now, there are certain errors, so to say, that have happened.
16 का भी आएगा ना?
कौन सा, किसका?
ओसीआई नीचे।
ओसीआई बाद में देखते हैं, पहले पी एंड एल वाला पार्ट कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं। ठीक है। और there are certain errors or adjustments that we'll have to tackle. The first thing is, ये जो इन्वेस्टमेंट इनकम है, इन इन्वेस्टमेंट इनकम 14 million का gain has been included in investment income. So we'll have to remove that, and in its place we'll have to calculate the gain or loss in consolidated financial statements. ठीक है। Adjustment to gain loss in consolidated financial statements. How do we go about it? Fair value of interest retained. Correct? Sorry. Fair value of interest retained.
62.
Add proceeds of disposal.
44.
I'm going with the numbers that you guys are giving me.
Yes, sir.
प्रोसीड्स ऑफ डिस्पोजल है 44, ये कितना बोला था?
62.
62। ओके। लेस कैरिंग अमाउंट ऑफ नेट, सॉरी, नेट असेट्स एट द डेट ऑफ डिस्पोजल, है ना? नेट असेट्स एट
118.
डिस्पोजल डेट, देन
एड
एड
गुडविल
Goodwill.
Add goodwill.
Very good result.
गुडविल,
प्लस
Plus
Minus
एनसीआई
CI.
minus NCA.
Disposal date.
एनसीआई एट
Disposal.
डिस्पोजल
Disposal
डेट।
date.
ठीक है। हाउ कैन वी गेट नेट असेट्स एट डिस्पोजल?
That's
They have
given.
given it at 118
118.
directly.
So 118 DI.
It is
Directly given.
on 1st of July 2005, but disposal happened on 31st of March 2006.
प्रॉफिट को ऐड कर देंगे 9 मंथ्स के लिए।
कितना होगा? डू यू हैव द प्रॉफिट फिगर?
हाँ सर वी हैव इट।
कितना है, टेल मी।
32 into 9/12 which is
This is the profit for the year, right?
24, yeah.
Take it from here. So, net assets at disposal date. Disposal date है 31 March 2006। कैसे करेंगे? You will start with net assets at acquisition, not sorry, net assets at हाँ acquisition plus post acquisition profit, correct?
Either we can reduce from net assets
प्लस
on
का
31st,
हाँ
30th
Whatever,
June minus 3 months.
I mean whatever works for you. 118. This is actually not net asset
114 sir.
acquisition.
114 plus 4 million plus
The closest
32.
number that is given to you is 1st of July 2005, है ना? So I will not take net assets at acquisition. I'll take net assets at
Disposal.
1st of July 2005 plus profit from 1st of July 2005 to 31st of March 2006. 32 into 9 by 2.
9 by
कितना हो जाएगा? 118 plus 24.
142.
142.
Should you also add the OCI का share?
No sir.
पक्का? OCI में क्या है? Reval surplus है,
हाँ
net
सर ऐड करेंगे।
surplus is included, right?
Oh
Correct.
sorry sir, yeah sir.
So we'll have to add that. sorry, plus OCI for 9 months. OCI is revaluation surplus. ठीक है. So, and reval surplus is also a part of
PP.
net assets. कितने का है reval surplus? Gain on property revaluation. Again, let's do it proportionate because we don't know any other information. तो कितना आएगा?
Plus 14, 156.
16 आएगा.
154
16 into 9 by 12 is 14. Gautam.
Sir,
12
12,
12
156 total, I told you.
है
कितना करूं?
154, sir. 154.
154
ठीक है. 154 is net assets at disposal date. ठीक है. Do we have goodwill? I think इधर हमने verbally डिस्कस किया था ना गुडविल कैसे निकालेंगे.
सर
Yes.
Yes,
एक्विजिशन के
sir.
टाइम पे
Because
26 का गुडविल
26, yeah, we discussed.
and
Goodwill
there is
plus
no impairment.
and there is no
impairment नहीं है.
impairment very clearly.
Yes,
So
sir.
26. NCI at disposal date. NCI at acquisition plus share of NCI in post acquisition है ना. NCI at disposal date which is 31st of March this thing. कैसे निकालेंगे? NCI at date of acquisition कितना था?
50 million.
50 million plus पूरा post acquisition impact you will have to consider same as above.
Yes, sir.
50 plus
4 million into
32 into
And
sir,
तो वो
9 by
उसका डिफरेंस भी तो लेंगे.
किसका
सर
बताइए
उसका
just
शेयर का भी तो शेयर लेंगे ना.
कैसे
sir.
आएगा? See,
सर
we
नेट.
have net assets on this date.
यस सर. एक्विजिशन
Net
डेट पे
assets at
नेट
date of acquisition. कितना है net assets at date of acquisition?
14.
14.
14.
So, can I just do 50 plus 154 minus 114 into NCI का परसेंटेज कितना है?
40%.
40. How much? 66
16
minus 66 and minus 114. ठीक है. सो कितना होगा?
Loss of 8 million.
There is loss of 8 million, right? अब इसको कहाँ दिखाएंगे?
P&L after
इन्वेस्टिंग
ऑपरेटिंग
इनकम में
प्रॉफिट के
माइनस
बाद में.
करेंगे.
investment income में minus करेंगे. Yes, sir.
इन्वेस्टमेंट इनकम में माइनस करेंगे. ओके.
It has to be like
और
this 24 includes only 14 of this adjustment. So we have to bring it to minus 8. 14 has to come to minus 8.
so we'll have to first of all subtract 14, right?
Yes, sir.
Minus 14. Sorry, I should make a separate column here. Adjustment 2. Minus 14. What else?
Add another line item loss from
एडजस्टमेंट 3 -8
loss on disposal of
यहाँ
subsidiary.
पे less loss on disposal of subsidiary कितना है?
-8.
Minus 8.
ठीक है. ओके. अब और क्या करना है? डू यू अग्री दैट एक one more adjustment should involve whatever is the profit of the subsidiary. अभी 3 months के लिए it will be an associate. So share of investor in post acquisition profit of associate.
Yes, sir.
So वो कहाँ डालेंगे?
सर आफ्टर बिलो
इन्वेस्टमेंट
इन्वेस्टमेंट
इनकम में
इनकम
इन्वेस्टमेंट में जाएगी सर.
Add
शेयर ऑफ प्रॉफिट.
share of investor in
Associate.
post acquisition profit or share of acquisition in profit of associate. I should call it adjustment 3. Adjustment 3, share of profit in associate. Company is associate for 3 months. So 32 into
3/12
3 by 12 into
40%.
40%.
40%.
कितना आता है?
3.2.
ठीक है. Then what else? और कुछ है? Any other adjustment that we should make?
सर जो डेप्रिसिएशन हमने कैलकुलेशन किया था ऑफ दिस इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफ, तो उसका नहीं आएगा.
कौन सा डेप्रिसिएशन? अच्छा ये वाला.
हाँ.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, वो करना पड़ेगा एडजस्ट.
हाँ.
करेंगे ना उसको. मैं तो भूल गया कौन सा डेप्रिसिएशन कौन सा. ओके. एडजस्टमेंट 4, डेप्रिसिएशन. डेप्रिसिएशन ऑफ पीपीई 2 फ्लोर्स. कितना है?
1.2.
90 इंटू
2/10 into 50 divided by 15.
है ना. सो 1.2 कहाँ जाएगा? एडजस्टमेंट 4, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एक्सपेंसेस.
एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव
Yes,
एक्सपेंसेस
sir.
हो जाएगा.
एडमिन एक्सपेंस -1.2. ठीक है. एनीथिंग एल्स दैट इज लेफ्ट?
Sir, investment property, the fair value changes will be added back in P&L only.
वैल्यूएशन आएगा आईपी का.
एडजस्टमेंट 5, इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रॉपर्टी. ठीक है. फेयर वैल्यू एट ईयर एंड 96 इंटू 8/10. ठीक है. फेयर वैल्यू एट स्टार्ट ऑफ ईयर 90 इंटू 8/10. ये हो जाएगा 72. ये कितना था? 8 6 48, कैरी 4,
76.8.
6.8. So
4.8.
difference in fair value which is 4.8 goes to P&L. ठीक है. एडजस्टमेंट 5 बोल दो इसको. कहाँ डाल दूं? इन्वेस्टमेंट इनकम में ऐड कर देता हूँ 4.8. ठीक है. आई थिंक नाउ वी आर डन विथ ऑल द एडजस्टमेंट्स, है ना.
Yes,
अब
sir.
फाइनल.
Yes.
ठीक है. $155. ठीक है।
Yes.
अब
सर ये ऑपरेटिंग नहीं, सॉरी, लॉस ऑन डिस्पोजल सब्सिडरी को बिफोर ऑपरेशन प्रॉफिट ले सकते हैं?
व्हाई वुड यू से दैट?
क्योंकि
मतलब
मैंने क्वेश्चन कर रखा था, वो आंसर पहले से, मतलब आंसर मैंने ऊपर ले रखा है।
इज इट एन ऑपरेटिंग दिस थिंग दो, लॉस ऑन डिस्पोजल ऑफ सब्सिडियरी?
हो सर।
आइडियली नहीं है ना।
मैं
ठीक है, एक मिनट, दिस शुड बी, ठीक है। हम्म, कर लिया सारा कुछ इंक्लूड हमने। ओह, देर इज वन आइटम दैट वी फॉरगॉट टू इंक्लूड, विच इज यहाँ पे भी 19 का इन्वेस्टमेंट इनकम था, उसके लिए आई हैडंट डन एनीथिंग। सो 19 इंटू,
9/12.
ठीक है, 12.5, प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स 55.05। Luckily for you, you don't have to calculate share attributable to parent and share attributable to NCI, वो करने का रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है। ठीक है, अब OCI का पार्ट भी करना पड़ेगा, है ना?
Yes. Yes, sir.
कैसे करेंगे?
Sir, we'll only take like Zippy companies, con other comprehensive income.
एंड इसका 16 × 9/12, वो भी तो करना पड़ेगा, है ना? 16 × 9/12 प्लस यहाँ पे the fair value change that you had calculated for the PPE 2.4 मिलियन का, वो कहाँ जाएगा? एडजस्टमेंट कौन से इसमें किया था हमने? एडजस्टमेंट 4 में किया था। सो वो डाल दो इधर 2.4 एंड, ठीक है, देन डोंट यू थिंक यहाँ पे आएगा शेयर ऑफ OCI ऑफ एसोसिएट, है ना?
Yes, sir.
कैसे आएगा वो? 32, 32 मिलियन ही है ना?
32 into 3/12 into 40%.
एक मिनट, नहीं, दैट 32 इज प्रॉफिट, गौतम।
है सर।
16,
16,
16 में आएगा ना?
हाँ,
16.
16 into 3 by 12 into 40%.
Sorry, sir.
even I was still with that. Share of OCI 16 into
3 by 12.
3/12 into 40%, कितना होगा?
1.6।
1.6.
ठीक है। आह,
सर आप करते करते थक गए।
नहीं, एक्चुअली ये क्वेश्चन उतना थकाने वाला नहीं है, बट स्टिल मैं थक गया।
हमारा हमारा सोचो।
क्या तुम्हारा सोचो? तुम मुश्किल से 3 घंटे से पढ़ रहे हो, राइट?
सब पेपर में तो एग्जॉस्ट हो जाएंगे।
हाँ, बट ऐसे सोचो ना कि आपको एक ही बार करना है। डू इट राइट वंस, यू विल नेवर हैव टू डू इट अगेन।
यही सोच के चल रहा हूँ सर।
हाँ, एंड इट्स नॉट डिफिकल्ट, इज इट?
It's not difficult, but it initially it looks
डिफिकल्ट
scary.
से हाँ एट फर्स्ट ग्लांस नहीं है बट ये 2.5-3 घंटे के बाद ना लग जाता है डिफिकल्ट.
Like even
बहुत
before trying,
overwhelming
I'm
है.
just scared looking by it. I have to go in after. I want to if I think about going through 2 to 3 pages of questions, so I'm getting scared. That's the only issue.
Sir, yes, sir. I'm like taking 15 minutes to read the full question.
एग्जैक्टली सर.
और कुछ फिर एक
सर
Sir,
और
नहीं
इतनी
like
सारी
sir.
चीजें हैं, मतलब सर क्या अभी भी इतने क्वेश्चंस करने के बाद ऐसे लगता
हाँ
है कुछ
अभी
भी
सर
आ
कितना रह
सकता है.
गया.
मतलब जो हमने स्टैंडर्ड्स पढ़े हैं उसका सर कुछ ऐसे यही नहीं लगता है क्वेश्चंस देख के.
एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस हो जाते हैं सर बड़ा.
यार कैसे कैसे क्राइसिस
कल तो
होते
दोबारा देने जा रहा हूँ।
भाई तूने जो कर रखे हो भेज दे मेरे को एक बार.
हैं इतना.
मेरे तो 49 आए थे।
हाँ तो 2 बार मंदिर चला जा उस दिन, तेरा हो जाएगा काम. अरे वो बहुत होशियार लड़का है, वो कर लेता है. और कुछ एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस को छोड़ के ट्रॉमा
Sir,
हो रहा है.
हाँ, नहीं sir, but when I'm reading any one question पे like I'll be stuck at one point which I won't understand at all. Sometimes हो जाता है like कि if I'm reading it for the first time, it will take some time to understand, sir. Otherwise, I'll be stuck at that point exactly.
द मोमेंट यू स्टार्ट डूइंग अ क्वेश्चन ना इट फील्स लाइक हाँ इट शुड हैव बीन डन दिस वे. तो वो सारे फिर कॉन्सेप्ट्स वो एक बार में क्लियर होने लग जाते हैं बट एट फर्स्ट ग्लैंस व्हेन यू आर रीडिंग द एंटायर पैरा वो काफी इंटिमिडेटिंग लगता है.
Feels
हाँ
good to
सर
hear in
ये
third person actually. If someone else is doing the reading for me, I can solve it easily. That's what basically.
एग्जैक्टली.
सर ये क्वेश्चंस हमने पढ़े तो ऐसे लगा क्या ये सब दिया, आपने पढ़ा तो इजी लगा.
हाँ लाइक अब हम इसके बाद जो अटेम्प्ट करेंगे विल फाइंड इट इजियर बट अभी इट वाज वेरी कॉम्प्लिकेटेड फॉर अस.
Was it?
हाँ लाइक
Wasn't complicated, like
First
it was
question
complicated in our head.
कॉम्प्लिकेटेड इन हेड एग्जैक्टली.
द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन दैट वी डिड टुडे आई अग्री. वहां पे जो कैश फ्लो का एडजस्टमेंट था वो था अलग. बट व्हाट हैपेंस इज ना, यू मेक you have very high expectations from yourself and you want all of those expectations to be fulfilled in the first question itself. See, when you do it for the first time, naturally yaar wo nahi aayega. You will get stuck in so many places and that is going to happen. So कीप, मतलब उसके लिए आप तैयार रहो कि यार यू आर गोइंग टू गेट स्टक इन वन पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन. और ये मल्टीपल टाइम्स when you do not the same question, but as you start progressing ahead na, you do realize कि यार there are adjustments which are repetitive, there are adjustments which I can handle without somebody's presence also. And see, if you look at the question in its entirety, it's never going to feel कि यार आप solve कर पाओगे. Always divide and rule. Do one thing at a time, ठीक है? And try to focus on that adjustment and tell yourself कि चलो I gained 1 mark, I gained 1 mark, I gained 1 mark. That way. Otherwise, the whole question by itself will seem very overwhelming. I'll tell you, this is the 8th time I'm teaching SBR. First time when I taught ना, मैं भी अटकता था क्लास में. So to prevent that from happening, I also had to solve the question once before the class, then come to the class, still I would get stuck. It took me also a lot of time to get there. Okay? So don't worry, what you are facing is pretty normal. It's nothing out of the box. We have done, I think, 8 questions on consolidation so far. I think DigiWire, I consider that as a consolidation question only. So if I consider DigiWire, then we have done around 8 questions on consolidation. We'll be doing 3 questions more tomorrow. So that makes it a total of 11 questions, which should be more than enough to, even if you redo those 11 questions, na, you should be pretty sorted. अभी अपना सिर्फ एक फॉरेन सब्सिडियरी का प्री पॉपुलेटेड बचा है ना एग्जाम किट वाला, वो मैं कल ले लूंगा. एंड आई विल सी व्हाट अदर क्वेश्चंस आर. आई विल सी इफ आई कैन पिक अप वन मोर क्वेश्चन ऑन कंसोलिडेटेड पी एंड एल. उसके अलावा इफ देर आर क्वेश्चंस इन द प्रीवियस बैच, एक दो क्वेश्चन है लेआउट कंपनी या जो भी विच आई हैवंट बीन एबल टू कवर, मैं पिछले 3-4 बैच देखता हूँ, द वंस दैट आई टुक विथ प्लूटस एटलीस्ट. उसके क्वेश्चंस आई विल upload on the LMS. So at least that part, you will have some more questions. But see now, अच्छा, my part of the, मतलब most of it is over. There is अच्छा, एक एक छोटा सा पार्ट बाकी है बिफोर आई गिव यू सम मोर ज्ञान के मोती. Discuss the difference between OCI and P&L and the rationale as to why some gains and losses can be and others cannot be reclassified to P&L. The directors of Zippy are unsure as to whether differences between OCI and P&L and the rationale as to why some gains can be and cannot be reclassified to P&L. अब are which gains can be reclassified and which gains cannot be reclassified to P&L? Do you,
Yes,
अच्छा,
sir.
P&L में कौन सा जाता है?
Mostly it's realized gains. Unrealized will go to OCI, and then
Okay. Unrealized items go to OCI, realized items go to P&L. Now, for this, you should understand कि first of all explain what goes to P&L, what goes to OCI. See, the conceptual framework, or in general, P&L is the primary source of information about financial information. ठीक है? Whatever is shown in the other comprehensive income, that is not that is not achieved financial performance yet. अभी तक वो financial performance आपने achieve नहीं किया है. That is yet to happen. ठीक है? Now, that may or may not happen in the future. So you show it separately because it is unrealized. Now, IASB has said they have made different rules for items which can be reclassified from OCI to P&L. जैसे gain on revaluation जो है, ठीक है, you park that in OCI, revaluation surplus OCI. When the asset actually gets sold, you transfer it to retained earnings, which means the gain gets reclassified. Similarly, in case of debt instruments, if the debt instrument was recorded as fair value through OCI and later on the debt instrument gets sold and you have realized profit, then that amount also gets reclassified to P&L. Equity instruments का gain reclassify नहीं होता है. So basically, standard to standard basis, the decision also changes. And IASB reserves the right, matlab, of course, when I say reserves the right, they have their own reasons behind why certain gains can and cannot be reclassified to P&L. The reason behind that is outside the scope of SBR. So just इतना लिख के भी अगर आप छोड़ दोगे तो हो जाएगा. ठीक है? Okay. Now,